Hello to everyone from Tavernspite and Templeton schools. On behalf of all of the staff at our two schools, we hope that you are all keeping well, keeping safe, and certainly maintaining the hope that 2021 is going to be a different year. A year ahead of us where we can all be together soon, hopefully. Now, on the word of hope, I'm going to share a story today called The Hope-opotamus. And hopefully it will be a reminder to all of us, children and parents, that if we maintain that hope and if we look to the future, then I'm sure that things will be brighter and things will be better when we are together again. So let me share our story, The Hope-opotamus. In a drought in the dust, in a dry riverbed, a sad hippopotamus hung his grey head. He'd had nothing to drink since the start of this week. If he didn't find water, things could get quite bleak. The hippo was sad and the hippo was hot. But did he sit down and give in? Of course not. He remembered the words of a wise old giraffe that he'd heard long ago when he'd been a young calf. There'll be times in your life when your road will be tough. You'll be tempted to say that you've had quite enough. There'll be people that try and convince you to stop, and you'll feel that you're just about ready to drop. But those are the times when you've got to keep moving, and with every small step, you will see things improving. Just point any way that seems hopeful to you. You move one foot forwards, then foot number 2. So the hippopotamus nodded his head. I'll keep plodding and see where I get to, he said. And he looked all around at the arid terrain and thought, will I ever find water again? First he came to a desert, which wasn't too handy. It was hard to walk through, rather slippy and sandy. A camel was sitting on the top of a dune, and it told the hippo, you absolute loon, turn around and go back, or you'll look like a chump. There's no water this way, except in this my hump. But the hippopotamus shook his head. Just a bit further, he boldly said. One step at a time he continued his journey, till he came to a jungle, dark, dank, green and ferny. The jungle was thick and the creepers were creepy, and a large sloth hung down from a branch looking sleepy. This forest, it goes on for miles, he said, yawning. Why don't you just hang here with me till the morning? The hippo, though tempted, again shook his head. Just a bit further, he bravely said. He plunged on through the jungle, and after a while he arrived at the mountain, the ultimate trial. Poor hippo was tired, almost giving up hope, but one step at a time he pushed up the slope. The mountain was rocky and strewn with huge boulders. Then stones hurt his feet and the sun scorched his shoulders. A lion sat there on a rocky outcropping, and the lion called out, "You're much better off stopping." But the hippopotamus shook his head. Just a bit further, he proudly said. His heart was so heavy, his feet were so sore, but he climbed and climbed, one step, then one step more. And just when he was feeling ready to drop, he finally realized he'd reached the top. And a splendid sight met his eyes when he looked down, a wide, muddy waterhole gleaming and brown. He could see lots of sploshing. Someone was there bathing, a hippo, a friend, and they seemed to be waving. And the hippopotamus nodded his head. I'm glad that I chose to keep going, he said. Then a voice from behind him called, We were wrong. The lion, sloth and camel had followed along. And the animals cried, You're much braver than the lot of us. Hip hip hooray for the hope-opotamus. And so, keep the hope, everyone. And there's a saying, I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future. For all of us, let's hope, let's keep together.